This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. We've got more data on U.S. new car sales for October, and they don't look good. Last week, we reported sales for the automakers that provide monthly numbers, but Cox Automotive just provided us with a more complete picture. The SAAR, or Seasonally Adjusted Annual Rate, dropped to only 15.3 million vehicles, compared to 16.1 million a year ago. We knew there'd be a drop-off after people rushed into showrooms to buy EVs before the subsidies evaporated, but we didn't think they'd drop by that much. So this suggests to us that the downturn is not just about EVs. Volkswagen is the world's second largest automaker, but it's controlled by a holding company called Porsche SE, which is controlled by the Porsche and Piëch families. And Porsche SE just saw its profits plummet by 36%. That's got the company thinking about diversifying its portfolio, and it's exploring getting into military procurement as Germany and most of Europe ramps up their defense spending. Polestar is in danger of being delisted from the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. As of the close of trading yesterday, the company's shares were only at 24 cents. The Nasdaq requires a minimum price of $1 per share, and so it warned Polestar it could be delisted. To help boost that price, Polestar is going to do a reverse stock split, which will reduce the number of its shares, thus increasing their value. Polestar is really struggling right now, posting a net loss of $365 million in the third quarter. It's going to be easier for EV owners to find an open charger at one of Tesla's Supercharger stations. Google Maps is now listing the total number of stalls at Supercharger locations and how many are available. Previously, that info was only available to Tesla owners with the Tesla app, but now anyone can get it using Google Maps.
At CSP, we work with OEM engineers across the country on their journeys to lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly vehicles. Learn more at thecsp.com.
General Motors is making some important management moves. Steve Hill, who was running GM China, will now get a new job focusing on exports and retail innovation. John Roth, who was running Cadillac, will now become president of GM China. And Christian Aquilina, who was running GM Canada, will now run Cadillac. And keep these names in mind, because we think they're all being groomed for potentially higher positions later in their careers. And speaking of General Motors, it's dropping something of a bombshell on its North American suppliers. It doesn't want them sourcing anything from China. No parts, no components, not even materials. And it applies to all the vehicles that GM makes in North America. GM says it wants to make sure its supply chain will not get disrupted by geopolitical problems. China recently clamped down on exports of rare earth materials and computer chips, which disrupted global automotive production. And while China has since eased up on those restrictions, GM isn't taking any chances. It's giving its North American suppliers until 2027 to unwind from China. We think it's important to note that two of GM's board members have deep ties to the U.S. military and probably have a lot of influence on GM's strategic thinking. Wesley Bush is the former chairman of Northrop Grumman, and Jan Tai is a retired admiral from the U.S. Navy. While Elon Musk doesn't believe Lidar is necessary for autonomous vehicles, Chinese Lidar maker Hesai is growing by leaps and bounds. As of August, it controlled 46% of the Lidar market in China. In the third quarter, Hesai delivered more than 441,000 Lidar units, up a whopping 230% from a year ago. And through the first 9 months of the year, it delivered more than 1 million units, making it the first Lidar company in the world to hit that mark. Thanks to that success, Hesai will achieve full-year GAAP profitability 1 quarter ahead of schedule. And the growth should continue. The company has secured contracts to supply its top 2 customers for their entire 2026 lineups. And in China, it also has several partnerships with companies for robotaxis, which can use up to 8 Lidar each. Peugeot revealed its vision for a future compact car, a concept called the Polygon. The styling is pretty wild, especially for a vehicle under 4 meters or 13 feet long. So I tried to focus on the type of stuff that I think Peugeot actually wants in its future compact cars. That includes things like more recycled materials, using fewer parts and interchangeable components, as well as making the manufacturing process more efficient. One piece of tech from the Polygon that will for sure make its way to a production vehicle is a full steer-by-wire system where there's no mechanical link between the steering wheel and tires. The steering ratio changes with the vehicle's speed, and it even sounds like that square steering wheel will be part of the package. Peugeot says it will launch steer-by-wire in 2027. There's no mention of what powers the Polygon, but any future compact car from the company would likely ride on the Stella small platform, which can accommodate many powertrain types. And speaking of new models, Mercedes is currently cold weather testing the all-new GLB, but it also revealed the SUV's interior for the first time. I know I said the same thing when Mercedes revealed the all-new GLC in September, but I'm surprised to see the huge digital screens on the dash. That's because Gordon Wagner, Mercedes' chief design officer, said earlier this year, quote, "Screens are not luxury, and we have to create luxury beyond the screen." Well, based on all the new models that it's coming out with, it seems like the other people in charge at Mercedes don't feel the same way. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Alex Partners, when it really matters. CSP, the Composites Solution Partner. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And thanks to the following YouTube and Patreon members.
We help businesses respond decisively to their most critical challenges, from urgent performance improvement to enterprise-wide transformation. We work across the full value chain, in automotive and in industrials, helping clients navigate disruption, drive innovation, and unlock sustainable growth. Alex Partners, when it really matters.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.